teaching virtually, we have to consider na meron tayong tinatawag na 3 layers of learning. Okay, the first one is the physical environment. Okay, so the physical environment, the second is the virtual space, and then the third is the culture, the effect of culture on students. So anong ibig sabihin nito? The students are being exposed to different kinds of aspects or factors that affects their learning. For example, in chemistry, when you are teaching acids and bases, the physical environment could be inside the school, tama? When we're in the laboratory, you allow them to have some experience using equipment, pH meters, yung mga pH papers natin and so on. So ginagamit natin sila to introduce the content. And aside from that, of course, in the laboratory din, in the laboratory, we can also use some natural indicators. And of course, you can get that from eggplants, you can get that from other plant materials with the pigment, no, na required for this purpose. Possible na mapagawa mo to sa bahay, pero it depends on the age of the student. So one thing is, of course, you can use simulation. So ito na naman, no, yung PET natin, no, so ginagamit natin yan. Aside from that, other simulations can also be done. You can also ask them to watch videos in YouTube and in other platforms. Or otherwise, the teacher himself or herself can discuss that to students by demonstrating, no? So parang hindi ko sure kung nagawa niyo na to before, no? You're doing the activity in front of your camera so that your students can observe. Ayan. So and then you discuss things with them. Now, aside from that, what else? The greater thing actually is the cultural exposure. Different students have different cultural exposures. For example, may acids and bases ba doon sa is there a concept of related to acids and bases when farmers burn the yung mga rice hulls at saka yung mga straws, yung mga hays? We know that these these materials, when you burn them and they turn into ash, when the ash mixes with water, nagiging basic yung solution, so pero syempre, because this is a cultural practice, the students may or may not know that. And as a teacher, we have to bridge these 3 environments. So ibig sabihin, you can actually allow them to perform some experiments or somehow watch them use simulations. But in the end, we would like them to recognize or realize that all of these concepts are applicable to what they observe around them. No, lalong-lalo na kung ginagamit sila or alam niyo na, element siya ng culture. So lastly, before we proceed the second one, when we are designing these learning episodes for our students, it is good that we have to start with the end in mind. What does it mean? So what are the outcomes that you are expecting your students to have or to exhibit after the instruction? So that's it. And then you work backwards, no? Pag gagawa ka nung objectives mo, tapos gagawa ka rin ng instructional plan mo. So mas okay yon kesa yung mag-set ka ng objectives mo, tapos meron kang instruction, tapos doon ka palang mag-iisip ng assessment sa dulo, no? Mas mas complicated yung ganung process. So you start with the end in mind. So for example, in here in the Philippines, we have the MELCs. O yun. So meron na tayong MELCs, meron tayong curriculum guides. Nandun na yung end na gustong ma-achieve, di ba? Nandun na yung end na gusto nating ma-exhibit ng mga estudyante natin. So when we are expecting those outcomes, you can now work backwards, no? So you can design the lessons so that they could hit those targets and more or less the learning experience will be successful.